Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most powerful and destructive Atlantic hurricanes on record, Hurricane Dorian. This storm left a lasting mark, not just on the weather maps, but on the lives of countless people. Let's look back at its journey, its impact, and the lessons we learned. It all started in late August 2019. Dorian began as a tropical wave off the coast of Africa and rapidly intensified as it moved across the warm Atlantic waters. By the time it reached the Bahamas, it had exploded into a monstrous Category 5 hurricane, with sustained winds hitting an unbelievable 185 miles per hour. For over a day, Dorian relentlessly battered the Abaco Islands and Grand Bahama, causing catastrophic damage and a humanitarian crisis. The images that emerged were heartbreaking, showing entire communities flattened. After its devastating crawl over the Bahamas, all eyes in the United States turned to the southeastern coast. Forecast models were in a frenzy, showing a range of potential landfall scenarios from Florida all the way up to the Carolinas. This uncertainty triggered one of the largest mass evacuations in recent history. Millions of residents from Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina were urged to move inland. Gas stations ran dry, grocery store shelves were emptied, and highways turned into parking lots as people scrambled to get to safety. The tension was palpable. Florida braced for a direct hit. The entire east coast of the state was under a hurricane watch or warning at some point. Thankfully, Dorian wobbled. It stayed just offshore, paralleling the coastline and sparing Florida the worst of its Category 5 fury. However, the state wasn't completely unscathed. Coastal areas still experienced significant storm surge, beach erosion, and powerful winds that caused power outages and localized flooding. It was a very close call that highlighted the razor-thin margins in hurricane forecasting. As Dorian continued its slow journey northward, it weakened slightly but remained a very large and dangerous hurricane. It made its next approach to the coasts of Georgia and South Carolina. While it didn't make a direct landfall in Georgia, its outer bands lashed the coast with heavy rain and strong winds. In South Carolina, the storm's effects were much more pronounced. Downtown Charleston experienced significant flooding as the storm surge coincided with high tide, turning historic streets into rivers. The storm also spawned numerous tornadoes across the state, adding another layer of danger for residents who had hunkered down. Finally, on September 6th, Dorian made its official U.S. landfall at Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, as a Category 1 hurricane. But don't let the Category 1 label fool you. The storm brought a massive storm surge, particularly to the Outer Banks. Ocracoke Island was almost completely submerged by what residents described as a soundside tsunami. Water levels rose several feet in minutes, trapping many in their homes and causing widespread devastation. Rescue operations were launched to evacuate hundreds of stranded residents. It was a stark reminder that storm surge, not just wind speed, is often the deadliest threat from a hurricane. In the aftermath, the full scope of Dorian's impact came into focus. In the United States, the storm caused billions of dollars in damage. Recovery in places like Ocracoke Island was a long and arduous process, with many homes needing to be rebuilt from the ground up. The response from neighboring communities and relief organizations was immense, as volunteers and supplies poured in to help those affected. But the story of Dorian is also a story of resilience and preparation. The massive evacuations, while disruptive, undoubtedly saved lives. The storm served as a critical test for emergency management agencies and highlighted the importance of heeding evacuation orders. It also pushed forward conversations about coastal resilience, infrastructure improvements, and the challenges of building in vulnerable areas, especially as we face the prospect of more intense storms in the future. Looking back, Hurricane Dorian was a landmark event. Its extreme intensity in the Bahamas, its agonizingly slow crawl, and its close shave with the U.S. coast before finally hitting the Carolinas make it a case study for meteorologists and emergency planners. It underscored the volatility of these powerful systems and the critical importance of being prepared. For the communities it impacted, from the Bahamas to North Carolina, the memories of Dorian serve as a permanent reminder of the awesome power of nature. Thank you so much for joining me on this look back at Hurricane Dorian. It's important to remember these events to better prepare for the future. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into major weather events. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.